the jail. You shall not now be stolen. You have locks upon you.
O most welcome bondage, for thou art away, I think, to liberty. O Imogen, I'll speak to thee in silence. Sorry. In my dream, I thought I saw a father with two sons who departed the court as soon as they were born. Then a voice said, "Thou shalt again be the Lord of Imogen." But how can this all be? It was but a dream.
Come, sir. Are you ready for death?
Ready long ago.
Hanging is the word, sir. If you're ready for that, then come. You must bring your prisoner to the king.
Thou bringest good news. I am called and made free.
Well, I'll be angered.
Stand by my side, you three whom the gods have made preservers on my throne. Woe is my heart who the soldier who fought with you cannot be found.
There's no trace of him amongst the dead or the living.
Well, now we must ask of whence you are.
Sir, in Cambria are we born, and gentlemen.
Bow your knees. Arise, knights of the battle, companions to the king.
Hail, great king! I must report the queen is dead.
How ended she?
With horror, madly dying like her life. She confessed she never loved you, only aimed to greatness got by you. Not you. Your daughter, whom she made pretense to love, confessed that she too did hate, and would have poisoned her had she not fled.
Oh, most delicate fiend, is there more?
More and worse. She had made a slow but fatal drug for you, in which time she aimed to work her son in the adoption of the crown. But his absence made her shameless desperate, and her fears not affected, he despairing died.
I thought her beautiful, nor did my ears hear her flattery. Yet, oh my daughter. Thou comest not now, Lucy's, for tribute. It is paid for with the blood of many Britons, whose kinsmen now demand the slaughter of your captives, which we have granted.
Since the gods will have it thus, let it come. One thing only I will entreat, that my boy, a Briton born, let him be spared.
I have surely seen him. His face is familiar. Boy, thou hast looked thyself into my grace. Act symboling what boon thou wilt, I'll give it.
I'll tell you, sir, in private, if I may.
That rosy lad resembles Fidel, who died.
The same dead thing, alive?
Be silent. Let's see further.
Make thy demand.
I demand that this gentleman reveal from whom he had that ring.
By villainy, I got this ring. It belonged to Posthumus, whom thou didst banish. Thy daughter, Imogen, whom I close remember.
My daughter, whatever, speak, man.
At a feast in Rome, we were praising our loves, where Posthumus gan to picture his mistress. Gainst her and mine adultery, he, confident of her honor, stakes this ring. In Britain, I was sharply taught by your daughter the difference betwixt amorous and villainous. Thus rebuffed, my brain operated most vilely, and I returned with similar proof enough to madden Posthumus by shattering his faith in her. Whereupon, I see now.
Aye, thou dost, thy fiend. I am Posthumus, the cause no other villain killed thy Imogen. Oh, Imogen, my queen, my life, my wife.
Peace, my lord.
Here's the scornful paces lie thy part.
Oh, sir, you've never killed him till now. Help, gentlemen, my lady, wake my mistress.
Get thee from my sight, thou gavest me poison.
Lady, I had it from the queen.
What's this? Cornelius.
The queen, sir, acted for deadly poisons, but I gave her stuff to seize life for a short time only. Have you taken of it?
Most like I did, for I was dead. Why did you throw your wedded lady from you?
Imogen, hanged her, my soul.
My daughter, wilt thou not speak to me? Your mother is dead, Imogen. Her son is gone. We know not how or where.
My liege Cloten, upon my lady's missing, swore if I did not revere where she had gone, it would be my instant death. I directed him to the hearers in the Milford, whither he posted away in my master's garments. What become of him, I know not.
I know, because I slew him there.
Mary the gods forfend you as a prince.
The wrongs he did to me were nothing prince-like, so I cut off his head.
I thought that headless man had been my lord.
Thou condemnest thyself for murder and must die.
Stay, Sir King! This youth is better than the man he slew, as well descended as thyself.
Thou also hast spoken too far and must die for it.
We shall die all three, but first I will prove to you that two of us are as good as I have given out.
Take him out.
First, pay me for the nursing of thy sons.
The nursing of my sons?
These two young gentlemen call me father, and they think they are my sons, but they are not. They are yours. I am Belarius, whom you banished. Their nurse, Europhile, I wedded, and we stole the children because we had been punished for loyalty.
I could not wish a pair of worthier sons.
This is Guiderius, and this is Abigarius.
May you both be blessed. O Imogen, by this thou hast lost a kingdom.
No, my lord. By it I have got two brothers. You called me brother when I was your sister. I called you brothers, which you were indeed.
Have you all met?
Aye, my good lord.
Where? How lived you? When came you to serve our Roman captive? Why fled you the court? How came you to the battle? All this and much more shall a good time be demanded. But the foreign soldier who so nobly fought with you should be here to receive my thanks.
I was the soldier that accompanied these three.
Take my life if you will, but first, your ring, and your bracelet of your faithful wife.
It is my honor to forgive and to spare you.
We'll learn forbearance from a son-in-law. Pardon's the word to all. My lord of Rome, although the victor, we submit to Caesar. And we'll resume again our wonted tribute. Let a British and a Roman ensign wave, friendly together. So through Ludstown march and the great temple of Jupiter, let peace ratify. Seal it with feast. Never was a war did cease, ere bloody hands were washed with such a peace.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and particularly to students. What a great production. I really congratulate you on that. It was fabulous, I thought. I took a bit of a risk when Miss Thomas invited me to be an assessor in this year's plays. I've done it several times before. And she gave me a choice of which evening I'd like to do and which plays, therefore. And Cymbeline is one of those plays, as she mentioned, that not very many people know, and it was one that I've passed over many times in my book of Shakespeare. And I didn't have any idea what it was about, and I thought, well, having plumped for this one, taking the risk of doing something I didn't know anything about, should I then read the play? And I decided not to. I thought that perhaps it would be a very good way of assessing a play to see how well the production came across, how well the story was told by the cast and by the direction of the play. And I have to say, I think you did a magnificent job. I'm pretty sure I got the story pretty clearly. And I think a lot of that was to do with the fact that the production was very simple. It was very straightforward in that there was not a lot of fidgeting on the stage. The groupings were confined to fairly small spaces, so it was possible for each of you to make eye contact as you spoke, which you did very well indeed. There was very little unnecessary movement. I thought you did a great job of rooting yourselves to the stage, which to me is very, very important in a production, and particularly so in Shakespeare, where the language, what you're saying, is the most important thing. And so my full concentration was taken to the words rather than to looking at what you were doing on stage. So I think the stillness, the simplicity, and I thought also you were extremely natural in the way that you reacted with one another. It looked like people genuinely having a conversation. The way you turned, the way you came on and off the stage, just looked like normal people about their business. And I really congratulate you on that, because it's not easy to do. When you're up on a stage, your whole body tenses a bit, and you generally, people look quite restricted in their movement. But all of you were extremely natural, and I thought that was excellent. I thought you all projected well. I could hear you clearly. There were one or two of you where I felt there could have been a little more practice using the consonants, where I got the vowels very clearly, but I couldn't quite hear the end of the word. And sometimes a trick for rehearsing, really, is to try and spit out every consonant you can, and really accelerate that. Just do it faster and faster and faster, and then take it slower and slower and slower. And gradually the vowels are coming in, and you'll find there's a natural balance, and those consonants will appear. So it might be worth just trying for some of you. I mean, it wasn't all of you, but some of you certainly, there was a slight problem with that, but really very little. I've got nothing but good things to say here. I'm looking down my list. I think I'm covering them quite well. I thought you had very good timing. For example, in the scene with the bracelet revelation, I thought you paced it very well, the reaction, and I thought the dynamics were good. You know, the softness, the loudness, the change of pace. I thought all of that was extremely good, right throughout the whole play. I know there was one little hiccup you had there. Perhaps a line was out of place or something. I thought you dealt with that very well, because there was definitely, whoops, something's not quite right, but both of you gathered yourselves together and took yourselves off the stage, and I thought you managed that really well. I also think, this is quite a challenging play for girls to take on. And I thought you did some very good male acting there. I loved the handshakes. They were firm, and I thought that was very impressive. There was never any question as to who was who, and when, the girl becomes a guy, she looked like a girl becoming a guy. She didn't look like one of the guys like the rest of you that were being guys. She looked like a girl being a guy, so I thought that was pretty clever. There was one place where I felt there was just a fraction of overacting. There comes a point where you can just take the comedy side a little too far, and there were one or two moments where I felt that happen. But for the most part, I really felt you kept it under control very well, and that was excellent. The only thing with, if there is some comedy and you're going to get laughter, you do have to listen to that laughter and just control the next words that come. Because I think the line, cut off his head, were lost to some of the audience, because we were still laughing, and I heard that, I did catch that line coming out, but I bet some people at the back didn't. So just try to, this is live performance, so you've rehearsed without an audience for the most part. Tonight you have an audience, and I think you have to just be aware that in live theatre there's a give and there's a take, and so you listen to that audience and you just hold it for a second and then deliver the line. And I think for the most part you did that very well, just overall. The way one line followed another was excellent, very, very natural. But there were one or two occasions when things got just a little gabbled, and you have to just listen for yourself doing that and just think, okay, just slow it down a bit. Because the use of pause is huge on stage. It has great dramatic effect. And yeah, just one other, just slight little thing. When you're touching a corpse, I think possibly, it is a corpse. It's not like touching somebody who's alive, it's a corpse. And perhaps there might have been it was a headless corpse, a little more revulsion there, but these are minor little points that I'm bringing up. I just am amazed that you could bring off this production so very well indeed. So I congratulate you, and I think you've done a marvelous job.
Good evening, Minister, distinguished guests all. I have to say that next time around, I think I'll give my remarks first. But what I do want to say is to, first of all, congratulate BHS for what I thought was a splendid production. It is said that the arts really, however they're expressed, sort of open a window to the soul, and no one was better at doing that than Will Shakespeare. And long before there was As the World Turns and those kinds of things, Will Shakespeare managed somehow to sort of encompass all of the elements in a play that were going to touch people where they were. These were plays that were made for common people, so they were stories that were easy to understand. And I think that one of the things that perhaps you've been able to do this evening is to portray for this audience just how simple but how interlocking and wonderful a story Cymbeline actually is. And like Karen, I don't think that there are a lot of us who remember this particular play as well as they do some of the other plays written by Shakespeare. But there are some specific things that I did want to sort of just share with you. I thought that you made very good use of the stage, which is sometimes a very difficult thing to do because you're very concerned about getting your lines out perfectly. But I thought the pacing and the use of the stage was very good. I thought that you projected your voices very well. And the characters, I thought, related to each other, as Karen has said, in a way that was really very easy for people to understand, but also to see the emerging relationships between the main characters. And I thought that you did that very, very well. I thought the action was quite fluid. The play came alive in various scenes. I thought there was a good use of humor. Because one of the things that always is a very important part of Shakespeare's plays, particularly those like Cymbeline,